you just at a disaster state. You're attracting a lot of diseases by doing so. Fat and all those things, they clog on your blood vessels and all those things because of the food that you eat, man. Particularly sugar, man.
My dream. I go beyond the fears and limitations of other people. I am a Motivore.
You have to regard yourself as high value, because without you, there's no business. Without you, there's no money coming in. I know you may be making money while you are sleeping, but at the end of the day, it's you and your brain. You have to generate ideas at the end of the day to make sure that you keep yourself afloat in your business. You keep yourself at that competitive stage, because now you are not alone pursuing that which you are pursuing, man. People are going to come after that space that we're trying to terrorize. You have made a territory and said, this is the business I'm making. You are not the only one trying to pursue that space. Therefore, you just have to be on your A game at all times. So I have a triad that will help you to be in a position that you take care of yourself. You are at your optimum self, man. This is a self-improvement journey. I have a triad, 3 things that you have to bear in mind when it comes to taking care of yourself. You have to bear in mind, first, your nutrition. You have to bear in mind, second, exercise. You have to bear in mind, third, sleep, or the quality of sleep, or whatever you want to call it. These 3 things are the 3 main things that you can use to gear yourself up and be in a position where you are at your optimal self. Number 1, nutrition, man. You gotta watch what you eat, man, because now you are what you eat at the end of the day, man. Look at your diet and look at your body. There's a correlation there, unless you have a metabolic disorder of some sort, or your metabolism is at a faster rate than all those things, man. I'm not going to get there, man. But one thing I can tell you is what you eat is very important. It has to do with, because now you are building your body, man. Food is nothing but building blocks. The protein, the cells in your body are made of proteins, man. Which you can get from food. Your brain cells are covered with some melanin sheath, which is nothing but lipids. At the end of the day, you have to consume some fat at the end of the day, man. You need some energy. Those will be your glucose or your whatever, fructose, whatever. That's for energy, man. Your energy reserves, man. You just have to take care of yourself at the end of the day. So you just have to make sure that you eat well, man. And one thing and one principle is to make sure that you avoid sugar. Sugar is very addictive. It's that one thing that makes you to go to the fridge and open it up, and that is why, because it's very addictive, man. Once those sugar levels drop down, you're at a position where you want some more. You keep wanting some more. Sometimes, man, if you come from humble beginnings, open that fridge, there's nothing to eat, you close it back. And why? Because your body's craving something that is sugar. And it's very addictive, man. You keep craving this thing, and it's a vicious cycle, because you just have to feed it. Feed that addiction, and you get fatter and fatter. You gain some visceral fat and all those things. You develop a belly, and that fat goes to your heart. That fat goes to your liver, and it covers those things, man. You just at the disaster stage. You're attracting a lot of diseases by doing so. Fat and all those things, they clog on your blood vessels and all those things because of the food that you eat, man. Particularly sugar, man. Because now what I see in the wave of social media and all those things, man, and education and all those things, they encourage you to avoid the salt, which is good, to avoid fatty foods, which is good, but they never discourage you to avoid sugar, because sugar is everywhere, and the amount of sugar that is in this foods is very crucial. It's a lot, and it's dangerous, and it's what drives a lot of diseases, man. You know, your diabetes, high blood pressure, all those things, man. Your strokes and all those things, man. Sugar, because now we're consuming a lot, man. Because now even your mere steak that you buy at some restaurant, it has a sugary taste. They put the sugar everywhere. You go there, you'll find a bunch of sugar, man. I mean, who puts sugar on meat? Because they know it's very addictive. You are going to go for another one and another one and another one, man. That brownish aspect, man, you know, because they discovered something called, what do you call that thing? Some corn syrup, whatever. Corn syrup, you see, basically they take starch from corn, you know, maize, you know. They sequestrate that sugar. What they do, because now the real sugar that you get from sugar cane, it's more expensive. The one from the corn, it's for some reason, for some entrepreneurial reasons, it's cheap. So they are able to put that kind of a sugar on the foods that you are eating, man. It also helps them with preserving the food, and you know, the shelf life becomes long and all those things, you know. But they didn't realize that at the end of the day, it's sugar. You know, whether it's from corn or whether it's from sugar cane or from a fruit, at the end of the day, it's sugar. And it's as dangerous, equally dangerous at the end of the day. So, you just have to make sure that you avoid it, man. Avoid it as much as possible, man. We eat bread each and every day, man. That's a lot of starch in there, man. You're weak, you know. It's too much. It's too much for a human being, man. You see, so you just have to make sure that you eat right. That's the message I'm trying to drive at the end of the day, man. For instance, you take your favorite drink, you know. Your favorite drink, you know, you buy it each and every day. I'm not gonna mention brands, you know. I'm not all about bashing brands and all that, you know. At the end of the day, this is your personal journey, man. I'm not trying to come with law and say don't do this, cut that, don't cut that. It's your life at the end of the day. You just have to sit and self-introspect, you know. So, for instance, this can, you know, we buy it everywhere, 300 mils, you know, it looks harmless, né? It's soda can, you know, cola, whatever. But then you look at the nutritional information, you will see that this thing actually contains a whole lot of sugar. It says here, it has a glycemic carbohydrates, of which total sugar in grams, the 300 ml can contains 31.8 grams. Let's do some maths right here. So, a teaspoon of sugar is 4 grams. And this thing contains 31.8 grams. You divide 31.8 grams by 4, you get something like 7. So drinking a can of this is equivalent to taking something like 7 spoons of sugar at a go, just by taking this. And we have restaurants that put this thing at a very large cup, 500 mils or so. If 300 mils is that severe, how much is that 500 mils thing? I won't mention brands, man. You know. You buy a burger there, you buy some chips, and it comes with some things. They ask you to put some ice or not, because you want more, you don't even want some ice. You fill that thing up, finish it up. That's not living, man. You are killing yourself, man. That's just some delayed suicide of some sort, man. It's really dangerous, man. You just have to make sure that you cut the sugar at the end of the day. And it's such things that will make sure that you put your sugar down, man. You know, and as workaholics, we also use this one. You know, I won't mention names, I won't mention brands, man. Looks harmless, you know. But the amount of sugar that is in this thing, man. Let's go. Let's check. Energy, you know, per 100 mils, 195 kilojoules. You see, per single serving, meaning this whole can, that's something like 487 kilojoules. You know, we have some carbohydrates. I'm interested in the sugar content there. You see, the sugar content is something like 27 gram there. You know, you divide that, you get something like six-ish spoons of sugar at the go. Man, what is your body going to do with that lot of sugar, man? What do you think you think that is normal, man? You think that is normal? It's not normal at all. It's a lot of sugar in this thing, man. And it's killing you. Yes, you're energetic. And you'll be energetic at that time. By the time that thing and the sugar levels go down, after that spike of the high, you'll drop on the floor. You will have fatigue and all those things, and everything goes haywire. You wonder why you are in that state. It's because of the sugar that you are drinking. At the end of the day, even more dangerous, for as much as there's sugar, there's also caffeine. We have something like 80 milligrams of caffeine, man. That's almost equivalent to, I would say, more than 12 spoons, minimum, at least more than 12 spoons of coffee in this thing. 250 mils. Just imagine, man. What will do to your system, man. Too much stress on yourself, man. Too much stress on yourself, man. You can't do that to yourself, man. You are your biggest asset. You have to make sure that you engage in good nutrition, man. Instead of before I go to another one, let's address another issue here. With the same amount, almost the same, 300 mils, it's a juice. You like to drink it each and every day. You think, okay, I can avoid the energy drink, I can avoid the soda or cold drink or carbonated drink or whatever. Let me drink some juice. You would think this is healthier than all those things. But man, we're speaking facts. Look at this thing, man. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Where's the sugar? Glycemic carbohydrates. That's what? Per 300 mil, we have 31. Of which total sugar, we have 30.9. Imagine, 30.9 is sugar. 30.9. We go back to our math. 30.9 divided by what? By 4, you get something like 7 spoons, which is almost equal as this. The sugar content is almost equal, ladies and gentlemen. The sugar content is almost equal. Yet you think that this is safe. They supplemented some sugar in this thing, man, to make it taste nice. These people are in business. They don't care about your health. They don't care about your lifespan. These products, man, you must go after them with caution. I'm not saying don't drink this thing anymore. All I am saying is be cautious about this thing. Be conscious about the amount of sugar that you are taking, man. Imagine you are taking this, you are also having a burger. It contains some, more starch and all those things. It's junk food. There's some chips on the side. We haven't counted the sugar content in those other things. Already you are so high. Your ketchup contains sugar as well. So what I mean, it's a lot of sugar. And I won't even go to alcohol, man. Because now, 1 can of alcohol is almost, has the equal effects as 1 can of your cold drink at the end of the day. It's what it is. It's what it is. The only difference between a can of 5 volume of ethanol, and the cold drink is that the beer induces some CNS effects, whereas the cold drink, because it doesn't have ethanol, it only produces some metabolic symptoms, you see. So you just have to be at a position where you eat well, man. Let's eat well, man. Avoid the sugar, Also the yogurt as well, man. The sweetness in the yogurt, man. Nothing but fructose. They added some sugar because yogurt originally comes as natural, It's a natural thing. It's healthy if it's natural. But now they added some sugar so that you are able to taste it and, get hooked and go buy another one, You're most likely to buy that sweetened one than the natural one, whereas the natural one is healthy at the end of the day. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So I'm going to just give you things that you can eat. One, fish is good for you. Why? It contains some omega acids, all those things which are healthy for you. Contains some protein, Number two, milk is good, man. I don't care about milk, Some say, no cream milk or low cream milk or full cream milk, man. Just go ahead and take your milk, because on the chemical level, the sugar that you find in the cold drink or the fruits is not the same. Milk contains lactulose, which is different. The sugar level is even lower, which makes it slightly healthier. The fat in your body needs it, man. We go back to the myelin sheath, on your neurons. You have a neuron, right? This neuron is covered with some fat, some lipid sort of a thing, I don't want to go deep, for the sake of not losing you in the process. And then this fat thing, it protects the neurons. Your neuron, once it dies. So you need some fat. It's good for you, as a matter of fact. But, moderate in everything. You don't have to take a whole lot of, and milk also contains some calcium, which is good for your bones and all those things in metabolism. It's good. On your muscles and all those things, man. You must take some fruits like berries, which contain some antioxidants, which is good for you, man. Your nuts are good for you, man. They contain protein, man. Proteins are nothing but building blocks on yourself. Your cells are made out of proteins. These proteins, you need them. We have essential proteins. Your body can produce some proteins, yet some proteins you just have to eat them. Your body cannot produce. You have to get them from your nutrition, and that's where nutrition comes from. That's where you have to make sure that you take some protein, you build your muscles, you build, your cells, most, on a social setting, they take proteins for increasing sperm production. It helps them, Why? Because proteins are nothing but building blocks for cells. And a sperm is a cell as well, And then I can't emphasize the importance of water, man. Water is very important for you, man. So there's a controversy, man, about how long and how much water you are supposed to take, man. The standard one is in a liter or two, but the truth of the matter, if you can look in depth about this thing, it's the fact that at the end of the day, we are not the same, man. A 6-year-old wouldn't need the same requirement as an 18-year-old because of the body surface, all those things, man. So you just have to make sure you take in control of yourself and of your body. But the standard one would be 2 liters at least a day to make sure that you are in a position that you have enough water, man. It's good for hydration. It's good to cleanse yourself, Because now, for as long as, just like in a car, man, there are waste products, you know. We put in petrol, there's combustion, the waste products is the smoke that comes out on your exhaust system. The same thing applies to a human being, man. For as much as you are busy, you are functioning on all those things, there is a metabolism, man. And that metabolism will result in waste products. And so at the end of the day, you have to be in a position whereby you are able to get rid of the waste products. What will you need to make sure that you get rid of the waste products? Which is water, man. So when there's less water, what happens? There's a buildup of waste in you, which is dangerous for yourself, for your body. So you just have to drink some water, get rid of the waste, make sure you're clean. You'll see your skin even glowing, man, without having to apply some creams and all those things. Just because you are healthy, it's good for your kidneys, man. The kidneys are able to work even less, less effort on them. Your blood is, because your blood is very thin. When you're dehydrated, the viscosity, it becomes high, and that liquidy thing, you lose it because you are dehydrated. We don't want that, man. Water is very healthy, man. I can spend a whole hour talking about just water at the end of the day, man. And then all these things is to make sure that you are in a position where you are healthy at the end of the day. So another thing that I'm going to talk about is your eating habits, man. Because now, every now and then you are snaking, What that does to your body is, there's a metabolism, right? There's what we call insulin. Your diet is regulated by insulin and all those things. So you want to make sure that you put gaps between your meals so that you are in a position where as you eat, you leave a gap. What that will do, because now every time that you eat, there is insulin that will rise, because when you eat, you are inducing the energy and the sugar and all those things, in the form of glucose and all those things, right? So that sugar will rush in your bloodstream, and then you have your pancreas, right? Your pancreas, what it does, it secretes insulin. Your insulin is the one that will take your blood glucose into the cells, right? So your glucose levels go down, and all your cells, they have energy, and you're able to go and carry out your day-to-day duties, you see. So you can just imagine, every time you eat, there's a surge of insulin. Every time you eat, there's a surge of insulin. Every time you eat, there's a surge of insulin, Like many other things, at the end of the day, your cells sort of get tired. When they do get tired, they are in a position whereby they resist the insulin, which means now your sugar stays in the bloodstream and your cells starve of energy because your cells are very resistant to the insulin. So that causes metabolic syndrome. It may induce some diabetes and all those things. You are in a position where you are sick now because of such things. Well, where did it start? It started with you taking a whole lot of sugar because you didn't care. You see. So one way to combat disease, you open gaps so that when there's a surge of insulin, at least it doesn't surge a lot of times. In the morning, you're taking breakfast. At 9 o'clock, you're taking a snack. At 11 o'clock, you're taking another snack. At 12 o'clock, it's lunchtime. You are having that massive, fast food lunch. You're having some fun, right? At 4 o'clock, you're knocking off. You have to munch on something on your way to home. At 7 o'clock, it's dinner time. You are taking a whole meal. There's this thing. At 10 o'clock, you're hungry again. Before bed, you have to snack something or take some tea or something. I don't know. You're taking some muffin on the side. What's going to happen at the end of the day? Insulin resistant. you start getting fat. Your belly start accumulating some fat, because now the first place that this fat will go is in your belly. Start to develop a belly. You have your barrel shape. Then it goes to your organs and all those things, causing some havoc. And then when it has nowhere to go, then it will go to your bum and all those things, create some flaps and, start being fat. You have a sugar addiction, ladies and gentlemen. You have to address it and make sure you put your sugar on hold, man. Just have to make sure you put the sugar on hold. So your fruits, you have to make sure you engage in the fruits. Your juice with caution because of the sugar content I just demonstrated. Because now what is 100% sugar is not 100%. At the end of the day, they add some things, some stabilizers and all those things, man, which are harmful to you. So you have to make sure you take it with caution, man. And then make sure that you are in a position that you take more fruits. By taking more fruits, does it mean I should take 10 apples because they're healthy? No, moderate in everything, ladies and gentlemen, because at the end of the day, they contain sugar. You take 15 apples a day, you are killing yourself or going back to the sugar issue, because they contain fructose, which is sugar at the end of the day, these fruits. So you have to take them with caution. The good thing about fruits versus juice, take a fruit, because now the fruit contains what? Fiber. Fiber is good for your stomach, ladies and gentlemen. You eat the fiber. Your fiber is what increases the bulk of your feces. So, which is good for your stomach, is good for your intestines. As that food content is passing through your intestines and absorbing all those things, that bulk is good for your stomach, because your lining of your stomach, it has some muscles, né? Therefore, that continual squeezing and peristalsis going on your intestines is good for your stomach, because it, just like any other muscle, it kind of exercises those muscles so that you are in a position that you actually exercise them and you have a strong gut at the end of the day. And you get to prevent diseases like diverticulitis and diverticulosis and all those things, man. Diverticulitis and diverticulosis is when your lining is so weak that it produces some bulging and all those things that can cause you more problems, as you can see in the picture. So you have to be in a position where you take care of yourself, man. I know we're at a generation that everything is available to us at the back, and you have ancestors, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, you have people who are living, who haven't adapted to taking in so much sugar in our system, because there was less availability of food before, way back, And then now all of a sudden there's your genetically modified food and all those things, your GMOs. And we're unable to process the whole sugar scenario altogether. And that puts you at a disadvantage. There's too much sugar in these foods, man. You have to be at a position where you moderate yourself, where sugar is concerned. My advice, take sugar at a moderate, level. Make sure you create a gap between your meals. And another thing, make sure that if maybe the issue of diet is a problem to you, maybe because of socio-economical status and all those things, because now we're in South Africa, different generations and all those things, and different, backgrounds, and maybe that's your position, that's your problem. You know, not everything is available to me, and I just have to take what I take. Instead of moderating what you eat, then moderate when to eat, which is easier. So without having to look at the sugar content and all those things, you can implement a simple thing as fasting. Fasting is good because you don't get to really choose what I eat, but you just limit yourself from eating. That's just simple, man. Take your 16 hours fasting, man. Fast from 8 to 5 o'clock. You eat after 5, and then maybe you come back and eat again. Make sure it's a cycle just like that. You can do that on alternating days, you know. Making sure that you are fasting, that reduces the intake of sugar, and which is healthy for you. And fasting has a whole lot of benefits, man. I don't want to dwell there, but I can assure you fasting is good, man. Not only from a spiritual aspect, but also from a clinical and physical aspect of your life. It's good for you. So I encourage it, man. So without making this video to be longer, I will just cut it here. Please make sure that you check what you are eating. Avoid the sugar. Everything in moderation. Avoid what you have to avoid. Take in what you have to take in. Oh, don't forget the vegetables, man, which are good for you. They contain a lot of minerals that you need in your body. Make sure that you are in a position where you take care of yourself and your diet. And yeah, on my next video, I'll be talking everything exercise. Cheers.